In preparation for Christmas this year, I've got 4 different curtain ring ornaments that you can make at home. Welcome to my crafting channel. I'm Alana from Upcycling NZ. I thrifted a bag of these curtain rings, and they're the type that go on big wooden rods. And I'm going to take some music paper for the first type that I'm going to make, and I'll grab a couple of pages out of my resource book. Then I'm going to just tear the pages into narrow strips. I'll be using PVA glue, you could use Mod Podge, and I'm going to apply my strips to my curtain rings. I'm applying a smooth coat of glue in and around my curtain ring, and I'll start to wind my strips around the ring. And I'm going to glue as I go so that those edges all combine together well. You could do this technique with any kind of paper, but you'd have to ensure that your strips are not too wide, or they'll start to buckle up as you're winding them around. Now that's done, I'll allow it to dry, and I've made a set of 3 of these. Now I want to add some antiquing wax, and I put a small amount on a little sponge. I'll apply it all over and remove my excess with a paper towel. Look how much it enhances that music paper. If you wanted your curtain rings to look darker, just leave that wax on for longer. Just looking at these, I think you could make quite a variety of crafts using this technique on curtain rings. Now I'm taking some twine, which has these amazing faux leaves plaited into it. I picked this up at a dollar store. I'm cutting off a length around 25 centimetres long. And for now I'm just going to poke the end through the loop, and then I'm going to twist it around and around the ring and poke the other end back through the loop, just to hold it there until I'm ready to glue it down. Now it's starting to look like a little Christmas wreath, and if you wanted to have a very leafy one, you just use a lot more twine and wind it a lot tighter around your ring. Now I'm going to glue the end down, and I'm just going to tidy it up so it glues down nicely, and I'm using hot glue for this. Just a dot's enough, and I just ensure that all of the strands are down. Now I'll just take the other end, and I'm pushing it closer together and tightening it all up all the way around so that my end meets my starting point again. I'll glue that down, and I'm using the end of my scissors because I burnt myself the first time. I've cut a wider piece of ribbon in half, and I'm going to cut it in half again so I have some nice narrow strips to use. I'm just going to use a small strip for this, and I'll make sure it's angled off at each end. Then I'll take a small length of jute twine. I'm tying a loop in it, and I'll thread that piece of ribbon through and then tighten it so that it forms a little bow. I have a little berry pick that came in one of my thrifted floral arrangements. They're great for thrifting because you can use them for so many projects. I've cut it down quite small so that I can put 2 of these with 2 lots of berries on each strand, and I'm hooking them to the very top of that eyelet. Then I can glue it down and make sure it's secure there. Oh, that's looking so adorable. There's a lot of glue hairs left there and a lot of fibres coming out from that twine, so I'm just burning them off. With the bow, I'm just taking both ends of the twine and threading them through the eyelet at the top and pulling it all the way in until I've got the bow where I want to place it. Then I can just add a little bit of the hot glue underneath it and secure it in place. Now I'll take the ends of the twine and just tie a knot in it, This will become my hanger for if you want to hang this in a Christmas tree or hang it from the mantelpiece or whatever you want to do with it. I'll trim off the uneven end and just burn off any more loose fibres. So this is style number 1 and this one's completed, so I've finished my first set and I'd love to know what you think of these in the comments. I want to use jingle bells in my next style and I got this packet from the dollar shop. I tend to go more vintage in my crafting, so I don't really like the silver. I think I'll change the colour. While I'm at it, I'm taking some tiny little bells. They are silver as well. I'll place all of these into a disposable container. And I'm going to spray paint them with a little bit of gold paint. A few squirts will do, and then I'm just going to agitate them around in that colour. I never actually go out and purchase these expensive spray paints, but I was given this one when someone was moving house. I'll spread them out to dry on some greaseproof paper, and then I'm going to sprinkle some cinnamon on them. It just takes that super shininess away from them. So with this set I'm going to paint them in a bright red. The colours I'm using are acrylic house paints, and I buy them in a red, yellow and blue, and I make all of the colours of the rainbow from those 3 colours. Then I can use my projects inside or outside. I'll give these 2 coats and allow them to dry. I'm always looking for craft supplies when I'm thrifting, and I found this big roll of elastic. I think it's underwear elastic, it's very thin anyway. And I've been trying to work out ways to use it for projects. So what I'll do with this one is make a candy cane looking curtain ring by winding that round in the same way all the way around. I'll pull my ends really tight and make sure I spread those out the way that I want them. That'll leave me enough on the end to tie a knot. It makes it look almost good enough to eat. I'll continue on and do the same thing to all 3. Next I'm going to manipulate my elastic so that the ends are hanging down within the inside of the ring. I've pulled some short lengths of those leaves from out of my twine, and I'll pull the knot down and just thread those through the gap that's created. And the tension's just going to hold those in place. Now I can thread on 2 of my jingle bells, and I'll tie a knot, pulling them really tight. You'll notice when I tie it for the second time, I'm going to loop one end twice through the hole, and that actually locks your knot much tighter and it won't slip. Then if I pull my elastic tight, I can trim off the ends and the loose end will tuck away tidily behind the bells. I'll take another length of twine and tie a knot on one end. I might as well burn off my loose fibres while I've got it off my ornament. Then I'll thread that piece through my eyelet at the top and create a lark's head knot, and that will be my hanger. What do you think of these ones? I think I need a green set this time, so I've got a lime green and I'll add a bit of blue to get it a little bit darker green. I don't want to go so dark that if you put it on a Christmas tree you won't see it anymore. And again I'm going to give these 2 coats and allow them to dry thoroughly. I was thinking that if you had some faux Christmas holly, that would look great in the green one of these. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of that, so I'll show you what I did with it in a moment. I'm going to use some more of that ribbon that I cut up earlier, and I'll use that hot glue on method and again wind that all the way around my curtain ring. The longer your ribbon is, the closer you'll be able to wind it. I'll glue the end in place over top of the starting point and complete all 3 of those. For these I'm taking some twine again and one of my little jingle bells, and I'll thread that through to the middle. Then I have some small pieces of red velvet ribbon, and I'll just tie that off, creating a bow behind my little jingle bell. I'll trim the end of my ribbons on an angle, and then with this one I'm just going to tie around and through the eyelet at the top, going in opposite directions. Then I can tie off the top and it becomes a hanger automatically. I'll trim off those uneven ends, cut my ribbon on an angle, and then I'll just burn off those loose fibres on the twine again. I think these ornaments will stand out quite nicely on a Christmas tree. And for the last style number 4, I'm going to use some gold acrylic paint. This is a Folk Art product, and I'll put 2 coats on. The second coat really is the charm with this stuff. It darkens that gold up quite a lot. I'd be really keen to know out of these 4 different styles which one ends up being your favourite. If you can let me know in the comments, it really helps to know what other people's style is. I'm going to use the leafy twine again for this one. I think the leafy twine really gives it a great vintage look. I'll do these the same that I've done the first one and loop those ends through the top for now until I'm ready to glue with hot glue. I'll have to apologise for my voice this week. I've got a bit of a cold. I've had a few of them this year. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's our changeable weather. None of them have been terribly serious. Alright, so back to my little curtain ring ornament. I've glued that down now, and I'm going to take some of these berry picks and just cut them down a little. It's a different kind of berry pick, again from one of my thrifted floral arrangements. And I'll tuck the very end of that down under some of my twine before I add some hot glue. I really want to make sure they don't fall apart. These berry picks also have a little stalky piece at the other end of the berries, so I'll tuck that under some twine at the other side and add some hot glue again. Oh, that's so freaking adorable. I still had those really tiny bells to use up, so I'll take some twine again and I'll thread 3 of these on and move them to the centre of the twine. The holes were really tiny and my twine was really frayed, so I put a bit of hot glue on the end and just ran it between my fingers so it became nice and sharp. Now I'll just tie a knot, pull that tight, and I'm going to apply that around the top of the ornament, and I'll thread it through the eyelet in opposite directions again. And I'll tie a knot in the top of the twine again. This one got a little bit shorter because I had uneven ends. I'll trim the end off even and run my lighter across the twine again. I really think this is worth doing because it tidies the whole thing right up. So now that I've completed this one, I think that my favourite is probably style number 1, followed closely by this style here. What do you think? Do you agree? Okay, so I'm all done. So let's have a look at them all and see what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and Merry Christmas for December.